Hello and welcome to a noobreview.com underrated games video. Now, if you read that warning there, this game psychologically profiles you as you play it. I am, of course, speaking about the amazing Wii title, Silent Hill: Shattered Memories. Today I'm joined by Mr. Kieran Roycroft.
That was incredibly slick. I applaud you for that. That was brilliant.
Thank you. And Adam Radcliffe.
Hello.
So, first things first, guys. I think I know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Have either of you played this game?
No.
No.
You missed out on a blinder. It's, for those that are unaware, it's basically a reimagining of the first Silent Hill.
Right, okay. Now, I thought originally this was a totally new game.
Well, it
That's
is,
interesting.
pretty much, but it's the same plot as the first game.
Right, okay.
You play as Harry Mason, who crashes one night in the town of Silent Hill, as we see here, and his daughter Cheryl has gone missing.
Right.
And you basically wander around the town trying to find her. Now, the key difference here is where the PlayStation original Silent Hill used fog to kind of create a sinister atmosphere, this game uses ice and snow.
Right, okay.
Now, what's happening here is, presumably, this cutscene is taking place after the fact. So you are meeting with your new therapist, who is telling you basically that he's going to throw all the throw the rule book out the window, and treat you completely differently to any other therapist you've had before, because he really wants to help you.
Right. He actually cares about you, but all those others, forget about that.
Yeah.
He looks like a bit of an alcoholic. That's not encouraging.
But yes, using the using the Wiimote, you can actually look around his office and see what's there.
Yeah, I did notice at the start of that little clip, you started hovering around his crotch area. That's a bit weird, Luke.
That was unintentional.
I think
swear.
you have.
Oh, here we go.
Have
Test
issues.
number one.
That's right. At the start of the game, you're given a psychological profile test.
Right.
And depending on how you answer, it determines how the levels turn out.
Ah, right, okay. That's
Now this
a
one,
brilliant idea.
this question, I'm just like, I don't know, let's say false. Do you know what? Actually, change my mind. True. Let's see what
Yeah, you
happens.
Yeah, you
I
do.
swear.
Oh, this game seems like so much fun, and it's only a little exam at the start.
It is
3
great
minutes
fun.
into it.
Who knew exams could be so entertaining?
Oh, look, you have to yes and no as well.
Yeah, he asked me if I'd ever really never cheated. And I was like, of course I haven't. How dare you? But yeah, basically, depending on how you answer those questions, it shapes the next level for you.
That's really cool, actually. I don't think I've ever heard of a similar system in any other game, to be honest. How you know, okay, we've had randomly generated stuff, but this is a bit more specific than that.
That's right, yes. I believe, if I
Very
remember
interesting.
rightly, depending on the choices you make, it changes the first puzzle.
Right.
So, in my playthrough, it's going to be an electronics store. In another playthrough that I did, it was a clothing store, which had a completely different set of puzzles in it.
Oh, that's cool.
It also affects the types of characters that you come across, but I can talk about that a bit more later on. Let's actually talk about how this game controls. So you use the Wii remote as if it were a torch in your hand, so you point it around.
That's immediately I was thinking, oh, this is a bit like Alan Wake. A little
Yeah, it
bit.
is a little bit, yeah. And you use the
Kinda
nunchuck to walk forward and strafe left and right. It's all very smooth and fluid and completely intuitive. And actually, something else about the way it psychologically profiles you, you'll see this in a second, actually. It kind of pays attention to what you do in the levels. So let's go and have a look at this dirty calendar. And the game has acknowledged that I spent a couple of seconds looking at that dirty calendar. And it's going to reflect how the events unfold in the future.
This is
Similarly,
really cool.
I'm sitting here reading this little bit of graffiti. Nice.
I love flashlights.
I thought you said something else then, but
No.
I'm not going to say it on the video. Because this is already quite seedy.
It's a really great way to explore a level. Like if you
It's really, really cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm just I'm
Especially,
very
like,
interested now.
It just makes sense as well. Like, if it's the middle of the night, you'd use a torch, wouldn't you? It's some
That's
dark
right,
levels,
yes.
so you could just see everything. I just think this would be much better if it was just a little bit more realistic. And it might sound stupid, but a torch does add that to the game.
No, it definitely does. And something else that I really like about this is that it doesn't have any like really obtuse puzzles. They've all kind of got like a real world solution. So there's a key hidden in one of those cans. How do you find it out? Well, you use the Wii remote to pick it up, and then you shake it to see if you can hear the key in there,
Right.
and then tip it over to get the key out.
It's quite a hands-on game then, isn't it? You
Yes,
know, you're
definitely.
walking around using a torch to highlight bits of the screen. You're having to shake things to find things. Yeah, it's really cool. And the whole psychologically profiling you as you progress is, again, it's another personal touch.
Here she is.
Exactly. Now, another personal touch is this policewoman. Because I answered my questions fairly conservatively, she is basically a regular-looking woman. If I had said, that I always cheated, that I loved sexual role play, and
Which you do.
Well, we're talking hypotheticals at the moment.
Right.
She would be I believe it's like blonde-haired, scantily clad, kind of sexy policewoman that's got a completely different attitude towards you.
Brilliant.
So even characters change as well.
That's right. Yes, they do.
Okay. I wonder if it's yeah. I was just about to say, does it psychologically profile you when you're looking at characters as well?
I believe it does. Yes.
All
Now,
right.
one of the things you won't pick up in this video is just coming up, my phone starts to ring, but my character doesn't acknowledge it. The reason why you can't hear it is because the sound actually comes out of the Wii remote,
Right. Okay.
I love that.
and to pick it up, you have to kind of hold it up against your ear and listen to the conversation.
Brilliant. This is ace.
It is. It's brilliant.
Why can't more Wii games be like this?
I don't know. Now, here we go. She says to him, "Your phone, are you going to answer it?" Of course, if you're watching this video, you can't hear it ringing. But you have to believe me, it was ringing in my remote.
See, this is how motion control should be done.
Exactly. It's more than just waggling it about or moving an infrared light on the screen.
Yeah.
I need to follow this up. It's okay.
Yes, because having properly implemented motion controls really enhances the experience.
Yeah.
I mean, the Wii does have a bad rep for having kind of generic wiggle controls inserted into games where they don't need to be there. But for anyone that doubts the power of motion controls and how they can completely change an experience, they should play this game.
Oh, there it's saying, isn't it? If it rings, you have to pick it up.
That's right. Now, just a moment. Actually, we'll come across some of the hidden items that are in the game. Their importance isn't really signified until the actual end of the game,
Right.
but they're like hidden mementos that are spread out across the town.
Right, there you go. There's your first one.
I'm guessing
That's
they put in a lot of little mentions to other Silent Hill games when they were making all these models.
I believe so, yeah. I mean, they do seem to be significant to the Silent Hill series, but when the game finishes and they actually disclose what the real significance of them is, it's very, very cool. Now, here we go. When I was talking earlier about the way the game uses ice and snow to create a kind of more tense and hostile environment, at certain points, Silent Hill becomes overcome with ice, and you have to try and find your way out of a maze. And
Which is all the more horrifying because you've literally your only source of light is a torch.
that's right. And you see those icy walls there blocked off any other route for me, so I had to go through this door.
Right.
And you're going to come across the antagonists in a minute. They're kind of these weird, shrieking, skinless monkey people.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, your favourite, Kieran.
Love
it's-
a bit of skinless monkey.
What the viewers won't know is I genuinely don't like survival horror games. So this is actually torture for me. Oh, there he is.
There are quite a lot of them as well, and they chase you through the maze.
Right.
Now, what makes this different is there's no form of combat. You have to try and escape them. You can't, like, punch them, shoot them, whatever. You just have to hide from them if you can. So I'm just going to jump into this cupboard
bit like
here.
Amnesia, then. That I just
A little bit, yeah. And something else that isn't being picked up is, you know, in Silent Hill games, whenever you got near an enemy, your radio would kind of crackle with static.
Yes.
Well, whenever you get near enemies in this, the static comes from your Wii remote, and it's a really jarring, unsettling noise, just constantly going like that,
wow.
making this even more tense. But in a moment, I'm just going to come out so you can actually see what a chase scene looks like.
Can you die in this game?
You can die, yes.
Because it's taken a completely different approach to the traditional Silent Hill type of gameplay. So I was just wondering if it goes into a quick time event and then you just press X not to die or something like that.
No, when they actually catch you, you have to shake the Wii remote to try and shake them off.
Right.
But if you are unsuccessful, then they will overwhelm you, and you'll have to restart from the last checkpoint. Now, there's no real indication on where you've got to go in these mazes, so if you bring up your phone's map, there's a little blue line there that shows where you have been, and then there's like a rough signal showing you where you need to be.
Right.
So at key moments, you know, when you've got a bit of space, it's worth looking at your phone to try and help you plan out where to go next. Now, as you saw a moment ago, you can actually pick up flares as well that are streamed throughout the level. And you can use those, much like in Alan Wake, as you said before.
Yeah,
Corey,
I was just
hold them
about to
off.
mention that again. I was kind of holding off it because this is... Well, although it kind of incorporates some elements of other games, there's enough in there that's interesting to make it a great game in its own right, really. I'm absolutely astounded by how, you know, the psychological profiling works. That to me is just brilliant. And it makes total sense in a game like Silent Hill as well.
Indeed it does. So if this looks like something you're interested in, we highly recommend you pick it up. It's available on Nintendo Wii, PSP and PlayStation 2. Should be available online, and maybe some good retailers as well.
Thank you for playing. Presented by
Noob Review.